So good to be with you guys.
Shake it out. Everyone can just shake it out, whatever's going on.
Yeah. So I am just very grateful to be connected with so many of you. So I know many of you. Hello. But my name is Zoe Lumiere, and I'm the founder of Allowing.Love, a coaching program, a community, and also a beautiful process of awakening to how is the Spirit calling us to create, to receive our beautiful life, and some really key steps to really manifest that. I am also a life coach, and I'm also the wife of Eric Lumiere. I'm also the mum of TikTok fabulous Husky Phoenix. But I'm just really happy to be with you guys today.
I'm Eric, and I'm happy to be here. And I would say I'm one of Allowing.Love's biggest cheerleaders and also students, because when we got together, I think in many ways, Zoe was teaching me these skills of Allowing.Love, before Allowing.Love was born. And it really has opened me up to just the greater fullness of my life, of my humanness and my spirit. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to share with you and just really support this work that I find that's so profound and so complementary to life, to being human. So glad to be here.
I was going to go off on a bit of a tangent, but I will just quickly say, like, how amazing is it that when we got together, that I had chosen a man, that I had a man that was willing to really dive in and become my number one cheerleader. So I just want to say thank you again and again and again and again for that, Eric.
And it wasn't always comfortable for me. So that's part of the process of all of this. I think it's not always comfortable, but the loving's always there. And that makes it all just more graceful, more easy. I don't know any better way.
So this is part of a 4-week series. This is week 2. We're going to be looking at the heart of spiritual manifestation. We're going to be looking at what are steps 2 and 3 in the Allowing.Love 5-step meditation. So I am going to get Melissa, and you'll hear more from Melissa in a little bit, but I'm going to get her to please put the 2 links in the chat that give you the Allowing.Love 5 steps, because most of you are so familiar with the Allowing.Love 5 steps meditation, but if you're not, they're completely free. You can either receive it through a 7-day meditation series, and it will walk you through this beautiful spiritual manifestation meditation, or we now have a dashboard where all the resources, all the audio, there are some success guides, and it's all completely free, but it is just the perfect complement to today. So those links are now in the chat. So please do take advantage of them if you're not already familiar with them. So you may be aware that Allowing.Love has grown to the point that we have needed to bring on coaches to support us as our group programs expand. So Melissa is one of our coaches, and she has actually also taken on the mantle of director of group coaching. Doreen shared with us last week. She is also one of our coaches, and I think I also saw Amelia jump on board, and Clara. Just welcome everyone. But I'm so happy to introduce another one of our coaches, Julia Franklin. She's not able to be with us right now, but she's going to share a little video about the 5 steps, about how she's been using these 5 steps, and specifically how steps 2 and 3, the steps that we're going to dive into today, really have been the heart, the power, the engine for her. So let's hear from our beloved Julia Franklin. Great.
I have been doing the Allowing.Love 5 steps for the past 3 years, for a little over 3 years, every morning. And the Allowing.Love 5 steps brought me my soulmate, and he's amazing. So I wanted to get into a little bit about how I used the 5 steps. For me, a journal is a really big part of my morning 5 steps. I've done it without the journal many times. And I would say probably about 3/4 of the time I write down what I am going through. Just an FYI for anyone who feels like their hand kind of does the work. That's how I feel. I feel like I have most clarity when I'm writing. So take it or leave it. But Sean mostly came in through, that's my guy. Sean mostly came in through step 2, but I will say that for most of the time of the 2 years before I met him, it's been almost a year now. Most of those 2 years, I would show up and I would say something in the first step, like, is finding my soulmate life partner for my highest good. I would say it was that 99% of the time. And I'd usually get an answer like, I have them written right here, like, yes, I am ready. Or yes, I am ready to be loved so fully that I can give more and more love to the world. And when they came in really strong like those, I would write those down. And thank goodness I did, because it's fun to look back at them. And then for step 2, I would really just tune into what it would feel like to be in a soulmate relationship. And I would imagine our wedding. I'd imagine how we met. I would imagine us just on like a Saturday day date. I would imagine him with my family. I would imagine us dancing with our children, our future children. Kind of whatever came in that day, whatever I wanted to think about. And kind of, it feels like a daydream, step number 2 for me. I would just sort of let my mind play that out. And oftentimes it would be like dancing at our wedding. And so I would let that play out in my head. And then step 3 would come along and I'd ask myself, how can I line up with my dream today? And often it was like, give yourself that experience of that joy now. So I would think of a song that I've been listening to lately. I would put it on and I would dance as if I'm dancing with our future children, or I'm dancing with him at our wedding, and just kind of play it out. I mean, not like close my eyes and like imagine he's there, but feel out that joy and how it would feel. Or I would say give the love to everyone else in my life that I want to give to him. Yeah. And after 2 years of showing up in this way, I dated many men in between. But I got really clear in this time about what I wanted him to look like. And I would write down things off also in step 2, like really specific things about him. So once I wrote, we'll inspire each other to be better and hold each other when we feel like we've fallen short. And I just have to say that that's how Sean is in my life. It's amazing. And I also wrote, I feel hilarious with you. So free to be my happy and silly self forever. It's one of the things you love most about me. And I've never asked him, but I think if you ask Sean, he would probably say something about how often we are so goofy and we laugh and we act like 5-year-olds. There was another one that I wrote. I can't remember the exact words right now, but it was something like, we'll hold hands on a park bench like we're 60 and roll down the hill like we're 6. Like roll down the park hill. And I feel like that's us too. We're so happy sitting on the couch just holding hands, or sitting on a park bench holding hands, and then we act like children all the time, and we have just the most youthful and free and fun time together. So I absolutely know that I was ready to meet him, and the Allowing Love process really gave me the confidence to know that I was ready for that, and gave me a really clear vision, so I knew exactly what I was looking for when I found him. And he made me these little things that say, these little things that say love. It's backwards, but that's okay. But it has pictures of us, and he gave them to me for Valentine's Day last year, and I just love him so much. And I'm so grateful for this Allowing Love practice and all that it's brought into my life, including my love of my life, man.
Alrighty, so thank you, Julia, wherever you are in this moment. And I think it's really powerful just to slow down with truly how simple this is, because I think this is how we miss the power of it. Really, steps 2 and 3, and you can do the whole meditation to learn what it is in greater detail, but really it is allowing ourselves, as we did in week 1, to ask for the highest good, then awaken to something that the Spirit's calling to us, something that we want to receive. For me, my first calling was to receive my husband. For Julia, it also was her soulmate. So this isn't just a program
Mine
about
wasn't
finding
to
love.
receive my husband, but
so if your manifestation's calling you in another way, please know that love takes so many forms.
I got it.
Sorry. And that the power here really is, how can we receive that, but then really imagine, visualize, and feel that outcome so fully until it stops being something in an outcome, but it truly is an energy, a frequency, a feeling in our body. So we're going to dive into a little bit of information just to really ground this. And then we're going to dive into a really practical experience so that you will have something to take away and really use this process yourself.
So before you jump in, can we call
Yes.
in the light? Can we do that since we kind of skipped over that?
Sure, we can.
That would be
We
great.
were going to, okay.
Or if there's a better time.
Well, we did do it beforehand, but.
We did?
Yes.
Oh, but not with everyone here.
Great. Let's call in the light.
This is very important. It's very important to me, and it's really just calling us into alignment with what we're doing here, with our intention, with everyone who is here at this time. So just come into your breath and relax wherever you are, into your body. And just start letting your breath breathe you. And just letting go of any pressure, any concerns. And even if your mind is just thinking about other things or whatever's going on, you can just be okay. That's fine. That's what it's doing. Just keep coming back to this relaxation inside you. And as you do relax, maybe allow an intention for today to come forward, an intention for this workshop. What would you like to experience? What would you like to receive? What would you like to be more aware of? What would you like to let go of? Any of those things. And just give it to the light, give it to spirit, source, whatever you might call it, give it to love. Know that love's got you here. That love's supporting us and supporting you in knowing more of what you're called into in this life. You to know more of what your heart's desire is and how that all works. And so we just ask for the highest good to take place for all of us here in our growing, in our awareness, and our letting go. And so it is.
And so it is. And in so many ways, just even that action is such a reference point of this work, right? And I think why I am still a student, will always be a student of relaxing, letting go of my ego, my mind, and truly allowing my heart, truly allowing love, is because my mind thinks, no, there's not enough time. I've got to plan, I've got to control, I've got to take care. But truly our heart, really taking that time to call in the light, really drop into that energy. It's everything.
More important than the PowerPoint, I
think.
in different ways.
100%.
But the PowerPoint's great, honey.
Well, we will see. We are going to dive into the PowerPoint right now. And I've heard this from many spiritual teachers, and it's just my own personal experience as well, that there is an evolution that's going on this beautiful planet that is going from a more masculine and a mental paradigm through to one that is more feminine and more heart-centered. And so I just encourage us to see that as we show up in our lives, we may be aware that this more feminine, this heart-centered approach truly is what's going to work best, and that the spirit really is coming into an alignment of really supporting that action in a really powerful way.
And feminine and masculine aren't necessarily male or female. They're just kind of more a receiving or like they're just different energetics.
Yeah.
So inside of us, and we all have different, I guess, wiring to either or more of one or the other often as we come in.
100%. And really, we could spend an hour talking about the dynamics
Yeah.
of that. And I wish I could not make it as black and white as that, but I do encourage us to see that there is a shift from a focus only on mindset, on thinking, on control, on planning, on a function, through a function of the mind, into maybe we have a heart, a love, a connection to our intuition that is far more powerful. And so we are being asked to learn how to feel again. There is so much research that's come to light. Brene Brown, you all know that I am such a fan and share her work a lot. But just this awareness that to the extent that we're feeling all of our emotions, even the shittiest ones, we're actually going to be capping our ability to feel the great ones. So really learning how to feel again is so at the heart of allowing love, both in terms of manifestation, but also in terms of healing and letting go of our own blocks. And so this process is a really great one that helps us just unlock. How do we learn to feel again? How do we learn to feel like a child? How do we learn to feel like a child, right? They're happy one moment, that passes through their body, then they're sad, that passes through in a moment, and they don't hold on to any of it. We're just a pure channel for energy and motion. So this challenging time is asking us to drop more fully into our hearts, into our love and compassion. And so I encourage us all to really take advantage of this time to find out a little bit more. How do we feel? How do we really take advantage of the gifts and the skills that we have through feeling? So I just love this quote from Eckhart Tolle. I really feel like it explains and sets up this step 2 very well. You attract and manifest whatever correlates to your inner state. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm a bit stuck on some of the tech here.
Doing great.
So maybe allowing ourselves to feel the way that we want to and feel the outcomes that we want. Maybe that is the clearest access, a pathway, a bridge to letting in the spirit, to letting in that frequency of love that truly is going to help us receive more of what we want in this life. And regardless of receiving that energy, to manifest a car, manifest a business, manifest a husband. Beyond that, maybe really allowing ourselves to feel that we want will show us more fully, like how do we want to feel day to day? And it definitely will give us the key to what energy do we need to be in order to manifest that. Having real problems, yeah. So I wish I could spend more time going into the profound research that really does support that our perspective used to be one of mentally, of visualizing, of it's important to see what we want. The research now very much more shows that it's really the emotions. It's do we feel it in our body? Do we feel it so fully that we're smiling? Do we feel it so fully that our shoulders have relaxed? But Joe Dispenza has just put so much on the table to support this work. And this quote says it so clearly: while many people possess the intent of their prayer, many others miss the corresponding emotions that go with it. So Abraham Hicks also does some beautiful work in this area. Care more about how you feel than what you think. Alrighty. So we've all heard the term visualization, but the research that's now come to light, I really feel that this term is quite misleading in terms of the power that's available. And I have reframed my own cute word, emotionalization, because yes, it's wonderful to be aware of what we're seeing, what we're smelling, what we're hearing, but really the power is getting that energy into our body. When we allow ourselves to feel our dreams real, we truly are letting that emotion, and all emotion is energy in motion, right? It is letting the energy of spirit. It is letting that energy for motion, the energy for motion that we need into our body. And it's just such an easy way to really allow that frequency that aligns us with the spirit. So how do we get our ego in servant to the spirit? How do we get our lower levels all the way lined up into the spirit? Well, for me, this is just a really practical and easy way to do that. The quantum field responds not to what we want. It responds to who we are being. It responds to this frequency. It responds to the energy in our body. And so we can all take a little bit of time right now just to be aware of what is the energy in our body right now, right? Is it expansive and free and liberated? Is it doubtful, sad, concerned? Right? This just spending 10 minutes in the morning to really anchor in the frequency of spirit in service to our creation in the world is just something that's completely changed my life and something that I'm so called to share about.
And we often wake up and we're looking at the world to give us that experience, someone to call or something to go well, and then we're going to feel good. But this is like the reverse way of doing it, is we actually start our day or start wherever we are any moment, and we give it to ourselves, because that is how powerful we are, that we're creators. We are, these super powerful beings, and we can give any experience to ourselves. Even if we don't have a husband or a wife, I can give myself the experience of having that right now. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So we're going to go into really what frequency means. And if you've been with Allowing Love for a little while, you'll be very familiar with what that is. If not, just hang with us for a little bit. We'll get a practical application of it in a little bit. But I do want to just kind of outline how powerful it is. So if we turn this feeling, this energy in our body, the frequency of our dream, and then we really show up in our world living from this frequency, what happens? Well, in our physical form, we relax. We allow our physical body to move from contraction to expansion. And if anyone's a metaphysical student, a student of spiritual awareness, you will know that contraction is what our ego, our human limitation does, what fear and challenge does. And that when we're connected with the spirit, spirit is pure expansion. Spirit is pure relaxing, letting go and moving outwards. So our frequency connects us into that so fully. From our frequency, we easily receive inspiration and intuition. I often share the example that the ideas that I get at 3 o'clock at my desk, when I really, should be having a nap or just really don't feel great, but I'm just trying to get her done, trying to push, they're really not going to be the same quality. They're not going to ride in on the spirit, on the intuition and inspiration than when I'm in the morning and I've just felt my dream real and I feel like $1 million. So it's just such a profound reminder to allow ourselves to receive our next steps through spirit, not purely through the mind. And then also from our frequency, we find ourselves moving effortlessly and courageously on what matters most. So inspired action comes from the spirit, not from thinking, not from the ego. And I think that's really hard for ourselves to wrap our heads around, because our head, our mind, our ego wants to be in control. We want to figure it out. We want to know 10 steps ahead. But often the spirit is in this present moment. It might have 1 or 2 steps present for us. Are we going to really feel the experience that we need and take those steps? Or are we going to stop because our mind wants to control, wants to plan, wants to know? I still struggle with this frequently, right? Fighting no, I want to plan, I want to know, fighting with the letting go. Spirit knows I can just really be fully in the present moment and allow this frequency to lead me. So we're now moving a little bit from step 2, which is feeling the reality, feeling our dream real in our body, through to allowing ourselves to be moved by that frequency, allowing ourselves to be moved by that feeling. So this quote from my spiritual teacher, Dr. John Roger, says it so beautiful. Spirit meets us at the point of our action. So again, we can be stuck because we want a 10-year blueprint. We want a 10-month blueprint. We want to know exactly what's going on. But maybe you've just received a clear intuition. I don't know, paint, talk to this person. We often hold back by just taking that action, but maybe the next step, maybe the next piece of intuition, maybe maybe all will be revealed to you as you take that next step. Spirit meets you as you take action. So how can we take action to truly continue to receive that information that we need to keep moving forward?
And I think there's many reasons why we're kept in the dark and in these processes. One is just to build this muscle of trust with spirit, with the divine unknown, as I would call it. A little faith that there's a great wisdom inside that isn't our mind or ego. And also that if we knew all the steps, that we might not actually move forward, that if we knew how it looked, it might just overwhelm us. There's so many things that could happen. So there's a great wisdom in my experience of how this is all designed, even if we're just getting like that one step that feels like no step, but it is something to move forward on. So that's something I'm still learning.
Yeah, my Lord, me too. And from someone who's very grounded in the world, but also has received this information intuitive, Marie Forleo, clarity comes from engagement, not thought.
It's a great quote.
It really is. So let's get our own experience. If you're not already, or maybe even be open to the fact that you can get even comfier, grab a pen and paper. And again, it is hard to put this into words, but we're encouraging you to have this experience through truly letting go and allowing that love, that soul that you are, to be the energy that does this. So maybe you could tell you're human. There's nothing you need to do, right? Like, there's nothing that you need to do. You're just going to be receiving all that's going to take place. So just relax, let go, allow. And we will be going through this process. Please do put any questions or comments that you do have in the chat. And Melissa will do her best to get them to us. And then we're going to have questions, time for questions at 2:00. But just know that we won't really be taking any questions or doing sharing until after 2, because we really want to dive fully into this experience. But feel free to put any questions or comments into the chat. Alrighty, so I am actually going to call in the light again as we open ourselves up and we truly give ourselves permission to have an experience with the spirit. And I just encourage us all in this moment to connect to that love, that spirit, that source, whatever word you would put on that invisible energy that connects us all, that loves us all, that allows this world to keep flowing and loving. And I'm going to ask us to all please ask for the highest good. Ask that anything that is less than this highest good, anything that might hold us back from our highest good, our greatest dreams, our greatest expression, our greatest joy, our greatest love on this beautiful planet, ask that it be cleared. And I'm going to ask now, in this letting go, in this awakening to the highest good, that we take a few breaths. And on the in-breath, inside, we're simply going to say, I am receiving the highest good. And on the out-breath, I'm letting go of anything that would hold me back. And again, on the in-breath, I am receiving the highest good. And on the out-breath, I'm letting go of anything that might hold me back. And finally, breathing in, I receive the highest good. I am the highest good. And on that out breath, I'm letting go of anything that might hold me back. So we'll have a couple of minutes right now for you to ask a question to Spirit in essence, you're awakening to what the Spirit is calling you to receive in your life at this time. So that might be something invisible. The Spirit might be calling you to enjoy the present moment more, to smile more, to love your body more. Or the Spirit might be calling you into receiving a business, receiving a soulmate. But there is a question that's going to work for you. And the challenge is that you're going to have to find that question. So it could be, what do I want? It could be, how am I called to serve? It could be, Spirit, what are you calling me to receive more of? But receive whatever question that you're posing to the Spirit, in essence, to awaken you to what is the Spirit calling you into, what's your dream, what's your calling. And then we'll have a couple of minutes just to listen, to receive, to allow the Spirit to answer. So this is a process of receiving, of observing, of watching, of waiting, of listening. And you may receive best when you write your answer. You may just hear it. You may see it. You may feel it. But we'll have a couple of minutes to truly awaken to what's the Spirit calling you into in your life at this time.
And I just recommend trusting with whatever shows up. And that maybe you don't even understand what it is yet. And that's also a revealing process. So it's kind of an experiment, and just trust whatever your experience is, and we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah. Play.
Yeah. All right.
And so you'll have a few more moments just to complete receiving whatever the Spirit is dropping into your consciousness. And so now I'm going to encourage us all to trust what's present, to really trust ourselves. And whatever it is that the Spirit's calling us to receive, we're going to let ourselves feel it, receive it, imagine and experience as if it were completely real. And so if it is an invisible calling, like, I am so in love with myself, I feel confident and courageous. Well, great. That's easy to dive straight into that, really feel that, imagine that, experience that. But if there is a physical world component of what you're being called into, really take a moment to be aware of a time in space, a time and moment in space where you can be aware of how you feel. So if it's a business, maybe it's the realization of a particular moment in that creation of that business. Or as Julia was saying earlier, maybe it's dancing with her husband on her wedding day. But really use a moment to first visualize, see, hear, taste your dream, your calling, but then feel it. Can you feel it?
And savor it.
And just continue to let go of any limit that you think there is to being able to feel it more fully. Can you feel it so fully that it changes the muscles in your face, and all of a sudden there is this cheeky little smile? Can you feel and receive it so fully into your body that your shoulders drop and your entire chest opens, and there is a warmth, a radiation from your heart, from your chest? But we're going to have a minute just to really enjoy and almost charge our battery, charge our energy field with this feeling, with this inner experience. And it will be helpful to, once you've got that feeling just humming, that frequency just alive and strong in your body, let go of whatever is in the physical world. Be aware that it's an energy, an experience within you. So we'll have about a minute for that. Enjoy. So as you continue to allow this feeling, to really allow this frequency to charge your energy field, just become aware of the one or few words that best describes this feeling. And this is what we will be referring to as your frequency, the frequency of this dream, this moment in your life. Just allow the spirit to drop in that one or few words that best describes the inner experience in your consciousness right now. So whenever you have that, you can write it down and trust that first response. Trust what just pops in. You'll have a few more moments. Let that frequency share whatever word really connects for you, and it might fall a little short. These experiences in our heart, in our body, truly are beyond words, but just find the best one that connects you into this inner experience. And so now we're just going to have a little bit of reflection, and you might want to answer these questions by writing them down, but really let yourself ask and receive your answer to, what if you lived this frequency more in your life? What would happen? What would happen if you woke up and lived this frequency at work? What would happen if you lived this frequency in your relationships, your family, your marriage, with strangers? And what might happen if you lived this frequency in your self-care, if you took care of yourself through this energy? What would happen? So you'll have a little bit of time to reflect on that question of what would your life look like if you let go of what do I need to do and what do I need to focus on in the world? But how do I more fully focus on living and being this frequency? What might happen? We'll take about half a minute to really unpack what might happen for you. And so now, as you do continue to focus, just keep doing your best to feel this frequency. Just enjoy it. And now simply ask the Spirit, are there any easy, effortless, enjoyable next steps that you feel called to take? Are there any next steps that do line you up with your dream? Are there any next steps that the Spirit calls you to effortlessly take? No push, no pressure. But from this feeling, there may just be something that you're already moving on. You already find your consciousness feeling that's easy. I'm doing it. I'm there. So there may not be anything in this moment. It may just be an experience. But if you do have next steps that the Spirit gives you, please write them down. We'll take a little time for this right now.
Really, they're just an opportunity. They're not a demand or a pressure. Spirit doesn't demand or pressure in my experience. Yeah. It invites us. So if you ever feel demand or pressure that's not coming from Spirit.
What a great reference point.
And sometimes our ego does want to come in and take the reins. So you just relax again.
Alrighty. So we are going to complete that beautiful process, and we are going to have some time to chat about it, to ask questions, to maybe do a little coaching around it at 2:00. So if you do have any questions and you want to chat, well, what does this mean? And this happened, great. I look forward to diving in. We look forward to diving in with you with that at 2:00. But first, we just want to really anchor the power of this experience and the power of this work. And I just have the absolute privilege to introduce one of the very first clients that I had in a group coaching program. She dove in so fully to this Allowing Love process. And I think what really inspired me so fully about Melissa is that she took it upon herself to become everyone in the program's cheerleader. She was already the director of group coaching, which she has now taken on as a part of our staff. But she was doing that right out of the bat, really supporting, loving, holding for others, reaching out, checking in with other people when she didn't have to, but that was just her heart, her service. And I'm just so excited to be doing this work alongside her. I'm also so excited to hear what she has to share with you about the Allowing Love 5 steps, specifically about these steps 2 and 3, about feeling it real. And so Melissa, please share with us whatever is in your beautiful heart to share.
Thank you. I'm just so moved right now. I'm so moved by this work, and I just feel so blessed to be here and be a part of this. I love it so much, and I love you. I would like to say that, like, when I started Allowing Love, I was going through a lot of transition in my life, a lot of grieving, and Allowing Love really gave me the space. I'm going to put you all in gallery so I can see you. I like seeing all of you. But Allowing Love really gave me the space to really move through that grief that I had, and simultaneously allow myself to dream again like a kid. And back then, my dream frequency, what I really wanted was, it was so simple, was joy. And and what I really wanted at that time was to be in joy no matter where I was, no matter the circumstances, no matter the environment. If I was living in a cardboard box, could I wake up with that joyful enthusiasm that I had as a little girl that I remember? And turns out the answer is yes. So, I got there, and I'm living my dream right now. I have my dream job. And so that's that. So moving into the steps, I started doing the steps pretty religiously, for the past 5.5, 6 years now. But how I would do them is right when my eyes would open in bed, I'd immediately ask, tune in with spirit and ask, what do I want more than anything in the whole world? And how will it grow and expand me? I'd pick that up, and then, is this dream for my highest good? And then so that moves into the second step, which is my favorite. What we've been discussing today is, to me, is my heart of this process. And really feeling that real, my dream real. And one that has come in often for me is vacation. Because I sometimes have a lot on my plate, and I love to work, and I can just work and go. And so vacation would come in for me. And so how did I do that frequency? For me, vacation is I'm on the beach, and it's a time for me to use all my senses. And so when I'm on the beach, it's I do that little thing where I scooch my body in the sand and have it hold, I make my little space, and how is that sand holding me? And feeling the sand in my hands. Is it super fine? Is it white? Is it warm? Is it cool? Did I just get out of the ocean? Are my toes a little chilly? I feel the wind, the cool breeze, the warm sun. What am I hearing? The wind, the ocean, maybe children playing or volleyball going on. And taste is a really funny one for me. I like to eat Doritos on the beach. So the taste, the salt in the air, and, my little snack Doritos. So when I'm in that, I'm, feeling that frequency. And then, I ask, what are my next steps? And they're often super simple, sometimes really silly. And so what would I be doing on this vacation of mine? Okay, so one of my next steps could be, I'm going to sit down and read 10 pages of my favorite book. It could be, I'm going to sit here for 15 minutes and do nothing. Or maybe even, what if I did nothing for an hour? Like nothing. Music's a big one for me. What songs remind me of a fun vacation or soothing vacation? Do I turn on that song sometime throughout my day? And I think of this Rihanna song that that when my family and I went to Cabo, that was our theme song. Please don't stop the music. So anytime I hear that song, it's like, yes, vacation's on. So yeah, that's what I do. And it's something that really works for me. it kind of seems simple. But when the little steps add up, when I practice the frequency consistently, it becomes a way of being. It becomes a way of being where I don't even have to think about it as much. So that's me, and that's what my process.
Melissa, thank you so much, sweetheart. And so I'm just, I think that really just shines the light on this in so many ways, is that our mind and our ego will want to find, well, this is too simple. It can't be that simple, right? And only through the experience of this, I truly believe, only in getting up and really getting your own experience of, like, is going to be feeling this, getting it into my body, allowing myself to spend the time that sometimes we don't want to take. Our mind wants to fucking get going, do this. We've got too many things to do. Can we give ourselves this gift of this vacation, this husband before he's even here? Can we give ourselves that gift and take the time to receive the inspiration, the next steps that come in? Because it sounds too simple, right? Even too my easy. Mind, too easy. And so the only thing that's really going to support you in knowing if this works is if you dive in and give it a little bit of a chance. And that's why I'm so grateful to have now just so many people that have been working this beautiful process for so long, because it does work.
And I just want to say, I love how specific you got, Melissa. And it works differently for each of us. Like I actually don't get that specific, like the sand, how it feels in my hands and the winded thing. Like I'll usually go more to just the feeling, but I love how you created this whole inner world and then the feeling out of that. Like it works differently Amazing. For all of us. So so all you guys, newer to this or trying it, just find out what works for you, what brings you forward. Yeah. It's whatever brings that inner experience here and now.
Yeah.
It's because that's what we're going for, and to fill yourself up with it and come out of that fullness. So anyway, thanks for sharing that. It was so beautiful how you shared it, Melissa, and kind of gave yourself the experience as you were sharing is what I was seeing.
Yeah.
So
and I love how we've kind of all gotten into the habit of now, sometimes when we're sharing, closing our eyes, right? Because it is like, how do we be with all of you, but also just so fully in this experience of the spirit. So I just thank you, Melissa. So beautiful. So we did create this beautiful 4-week series in many ways to do a deeper dive of the Allowing Love process. The Allowing Love meditation is always going to be free. It is a free meditation. It's 10 minutes. Please check it out if you haven't already, because it truly has unlocked him, my husband, my business. Everything has come through me doing my cute little Allowing Love 5 steps in the morning.
You unlocked me. That's what happened. Just being silly.
And so it is always going to be free. And so I just encourage you to share it if you feel called. It is fun to do it alongside another person if you're diving into it for the first time. And there is a guide in that, how to get a buddy and use a buddy in this process. But we also created this 4-week series to really shine the light on the power of this work and to talk a little bit about what's coming up in February 2022, which is a new program that's basically our 10-month Allowing Love intensive, rolled in, potented in to a 4-month program that we are now calling the Allowing Love Immersion. And enrollment isn't going to open on this program until next week. But I am just wanting to give you guys a little bit of an encouragement, because if you do love this work, if you do want a little bit of help, if you would love to be diving into this work with the support of others doing it, with having a group of people that are so your cheerleaders, so in love with you in your process, and you can really respond and return what that feels like to support another, it's just a phenomenal experience.
And I'll just say, even as a facilitator with Zoe, one thing I love about it is it's every week. So it's super consistent. It's like my life support, honestly. Like it gets me to show up for me, for my dreams, for my calling, for my humanness, like having a place to be human, to be vulnerable, to be like, hey, this is effing challenging right now. I need some support, and have a family that's there. Like, we love you regardless. The love is here. And so it's just, I can't say enough about it. And one thing I love about Zoe is she's a big giver. So it is really about like making it accessible, making people welcome who are really called to the work, who are really called to be part of the family in a sense.
Yeah.
And so keep sharing. You're doing so great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we were riffing about this the other day, and what came present was it is kind of like a gym membership for the heart, right? We go somewhere consistently to work out our beautiful body. We go somewhere often consistently to grow in our mind. But how are we really giving ourselves permission to feel the challenges, to really allow ourselves to continue to grow, let go of any past hurts, disappointment, do the emotional healing work, which we will get into, but also to really be aware of, fuck, if I knew I could beyond time and space, like, what do I want my life to be like? Do I have the balls to really ask the big questions? What do I want? What do I want to receive? What do I want to give? And how do I have that courage and that support system, that network to really show up?
And you don't even have to know how to have that. Like, it's really just about the willingness and showing up in terms of my experience. And then everything else comes forward. And it's easy to like live life as a human and live life as, you know, a soul, to me, in like separate ways, right? Like, we show up for our human stuff, we're in our businesses, we're doing our work, we're hanging out with our friends, and then we're doing maybe our meditation practice or our spiritual stuff or our church. But to me, like, the magic is when we bring those two together, and there's this communion, there's this harmony, there's this sharing, and there's value. We find the value and the worthiness in both, that not one is better than the other, that the spirit is here for the human and the human is here for the spirit. So there's something really just powerful in terms of me having a fuller experience, living as a human being and also connected to spirit at the same time.
So thank you, everyone, for diving in, for getting a bit of an experience, hopefully, of this beautiful process of manifestation. And so we have just now covered the first 3 steps. In my experience, the steps 4 and step 5 really unlock the magic, but you can do beautiful things with those first 3 steps. We are going to now dive into a Q&A. We are going to just chat, be with each other. If you have any questions about the 5 steps, about manifestation, really about anything that's in your heart, we have time for it. If you have any questions about the Allowing Love immersion, now is also a great time, even though enrollment isn't open yet. But just thank you so much for showing up, because it is in this space when we all show up in this clear intention, really activating this love that we are, that more energy is available. I have had a couple of people email me since last week saying, oh my God, the download I got in the workshop was more incredible than anything I've ever experienced.
Wow.
And that experience is possible, I believe, because of the energy, the love that we have all created together. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being open-hearted and open-minded enough to dive in, and we'll have a bit of a Q&A if anyone has any questions or needs some support.
I just thank you all for showing up again so much, because it's also so easy to skip these things that go on during the day. I feel like there's always like webinars going on Zoom again and again. So thank you for coming to this one and being with us.